Yes, we're live. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. We're live. Apologies for this morning. Couldn't get the phone to rotate, chucking it down with rain, but we are live now. Let's start off with Manchester United in talks to sign a big new striker. Well, remove the word new. Definitely in to sign a striker, and that is ZLATAN Ibrahimovic. This is according to DiMarzio. What are your thoughts on that? Mixed thoughts, to be honest. I don't think he'll be back fit until probably, well, mate, the man's superhuman. He's certainly doing things that I wouldn't expect somebody to be doing with such major knee surgery, but he may well be back as early as October. Has officially left Manchester United, but would probably come back, and Mourinho's always been quite positive about that happening. So Zlatan back to Manchester United. What are my thoughts on that? Does it look, I'm happy with Lukaku. I like the fact that he offers us some pace and the ability to get in behind teams. I think last night he was up against, well, Ramos is a tough cookie anyway, and I think Varane to me looks like he's one of the best centre-backs in world football. Fantastic centre-back, very quick, very strong, and you know, Lukaku did cause them problems at times, but not many, but that's what you would expect. Would Zlatan for me is a great backup striker, which sounds ridiculous, but if we play him in the first team, we're going to struggle with pace. Mourinho also saying game over in relation to Bale. I couldn't have picked two better words. The game is over. It was a game. It was a total game. I think I like Mourinho. I think what he did there is, look, is there a chance of us getting Bale? Probably not, but let's sort it out very quickly. Basically said if he plays for Real Madrid tomorrow night, it's probably over. He played for Real Madrid, it's over, the game is over. We played a game, we sort of test Real Madrid, do they want to sell him or not? Looks like Mbappe might be off to PSG, so Madrid maybe not in a position to get somebody better. The Bale dream is over. What about Fabinho? Fabinho did storm out of training yesterday with Monaco, threw his bib off, kicked the ball hard. This is a regular occurrence on any training pitch, whether you're training for your pub side at the weekend or you're training for Liverpool. Actually, they're the same sort of thing, aren't they, pub sides? But you know what I mean, it happens. People's tempers flare up and you storm off a little bit at times. Apparently it was with Mbappe. Is there anything more to it? Don't know. Are we going to sign Fabinho? Don't know. Would I like to sign Fabinho? Yes. Aurier been linked to. The update on the court case with Aurier, by the way, is that he's it's been put back to later in the month. So it was heard on Monday, Tuesday, but there was no decision made in relation to that. So nothing further to add in relation to Aurier, which is a shame. I think we were hoping that maybe that could get resolved. Fortune says Fabinho is the perfect player. This is exactly what we need. Predictions on the league table, we're going to do that later in the week, Ginger. We're going to start working towards the West Ham game, obviously. Look, I don't do the Twitter on the United Stand, and I think that's probably abundantly clear from some of the comments today. The questioning of Herrera that was actually put up on the United Stand Twitter account, I would question why that ever went up when I'm adamantly in the corner of Herrera anyway. Look, we've got more problems than worrying about Herrera. I'm going to try and get Ross on later because he tweeted something out about it as well. I've always understood whether, if we were a Champions League winning side, would Herrera be in the starting 11? I think you could have that conversation. You know, to beat somebody like Real Madrid, can Herrera be in the midfield three? I think he can, but maybe that's a conversation to have. But I certainly don't think it's a conversation to be having now about whether Herrera is part of the problem with Manchester United. I think that's a ridiculous conversation to have. We've got way more problems than that. So let's start off with Lingard. Let's start off with why Martial and Mata don't get used. Let's start off with why Pereira's not on the bench. Let's start off with an inability to stick with a formation that was working. I mean, I've actually heard people saying it's a shame we didn't play the 3-5-2 last night. Hello? Did you actually watch the game? We did play 3-5-2 in the first half, and for 20 minutes it worked, and then we have abandoned it and we go back to the 4-3-3 formation, which for me, it just totally and utterly isolates Lukaku. And then we have to, well, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Fellaini came on with 40 minutes to go, and we effectively went long ball for 40 minutes or a good half an hour, and that's our plan B when you've got Juan Mata and Anthony Martial getting splinters on their backside on the bench, and Pereira stuck at home playing FIFA. I mean, that no other club that's progressive would be doing things like that. And I love Mourinho. People say you back him too much. He's at fault as well. Look, I'm not asleep to the issues of Mourinho's ability to use our youth and play good football, but he has done it in the past, and I think he set us up quite well in the first half. And I'm not, I love Pogba and I love Rashford. Rashford's finish was atrocious. I've had people telling me you don't know how to finish because I criticise Rashford for having his head down. Just watch Isco's finish and watch Rashford's finish, and they're pretty similar positions, and Isco's got his head up and Rashford's got his head down. That's basics of a striker. That's like, as I said last night, it's Danny Welbeck-esque. But Rashford can get his head up. He's a very smooth finisher when he gets his head up. He just was a bit rash with that shot. He's 19, he can improve. Pogba, I don't see, Pogba's a great player. He's going to have games where he's good, he's going to have a game when he's bad. This isn't the problem with Manchester United, I think. And actually, you know what, a lot of people were very happy with Fellaini last night, and oh, he did really well, he's not the problem. I think, listen to what Paul Scholes said, listen to what I say. Listen, I'm not comparing me to Scholes, by the way, but listen to what a lot of United fans said. It's not the fact that Fellaini didn't play bad last night, it's the fact that it's the fact that the system that we used, United shouldn't be using that with half an hour to go in a game. Who's to say if we hadn't have got Martial on with half an hour to go and fed him and Rashford down the wings, because Rashford was having success down the left, we wouldn't have started to, cause them problems and their tired fullbacks. The question marks around Manchester United probably remain, but I don't think we're in a position where we need to be negative, and I don't think we're in a position where we need to start analysing things until maybe 4 or 5 weeks' time. I'm sure if we don't beat West Ham at the weekend, there's going to be fallout, and maybe that's right, maybe it is, but I do think we'll beat West Ham. I think there is a strong spine at United now, when Bailly comes back. I think Smalling's done very well in that position. I think Matic looks good, Pogba will be good. Herrera's not a problem. I mean, why is Herrera even a conversation? What are people saying we should do with Herrera? Drop him. Who plays in that position? Yeah, I could put Pereira in there, but he's not going to do that. It would be Fellaini. So Herrera's not a problem. I think Lukaku will be fine. Interesting, Scholes again saying a lot what a lot of us have said as well, that his first touch is a concern, but he's going to have to work on that. Everybody who knows anything about Lukaku knows that he's got to score against big teams, which he did last night, and he's also got to improve his first touch. His first touch has been bad for 4 or 5 years. He's not going to solve it in 4 or 5 weeks, but he will solve it. I'm sure he will. So there's not major concerns about United. I do think it's not defeatist to say that if he's going to look. The problem I had with Mourinho last night was that when he gave his press conference, when he gave his after-match thing, he was very complimentary of the team, the morale, and Fellaini. 2 weeks ago, against Real Madrid, Anthony Martial, out of nothing, created a tap-in for Jesse Lingard. Did we get any complimentary comments about Martial? No, we didn't. Did we get any complimentary comments about how good the morale is? Yes, we did. Is the morale going to win us the title? It will be a factor, but you've still got to put your best 11 players out. I don't believe we can win the title or even challenge the top 3 if he persists with Jesse Lingard in the team. Jesse Lingard is a fantastic squad player to have, and his work ethic is fantastic, but to be honest, if you're picking a player just because they work hard, you're failing as a manager, because every Manchester United player should try hard in a Manchester United shirt, and I think too many people are lost in that effort sort of circle whereby, oh, just because you try hard, that means it's a good performance. But the transfers I wanted to go back to, Zlatan would give us more options, but he cannot be a starter. Lukaku's got to be the starter. If we get Zlatan and we start playing him week in, week out, I fear for our season, because we need that pace of Lukaku. Signings wise, it's a bit of a mystery at the moment. Bale game over, good. Aurier looks very, very difficult to do. A lot of French sources are saying he won't be granted a passport in the UK, and the Burke says Jose and his defensive mindset is the problem. He likes Lingard and Fellaini because they're defensive minded. He doesn't like Tony Martial because he's not. He's an attacker. Mark, are people lost or have they an opinion? I don't know what that was. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's about, to be honest. And Lynn says that Jose is picking his favourites, not thinking about the better players. Yeah, that was sort of levelled at him last season, to be honest. Kieran Burns says, you said game over before Fellaini come on. We then scared you. We then scored and you said, we're back in it. You blocked me on your Twitter for that. I'll block who I like on my Twitter, mate. I don't need to be abused on my Twitter. You know what? I'm not going to be negative about United because I think it's all about West Ham. I would have been beaten 4 or 5-0 tomorrow, last night, to beat West Ham on Sunday. That's what it's all about for me. But if you know, I have to be honest about this. I was talking to Drawty about it this morning. I just do seriously wonder how low United fans' expectations have fallen, because mine won't fall, and I think a lot of fans won't fall. But being positive about, because we lost 2-1 and long ball was effective, I'm not positive about that. I think 2-1 flattered us. I think on chances it could have been a draw. We had as good a chances as they did, although if Bale makes it 3-0, I think it would have gone on to being 5-0. So I think we were quite fortuitous, but based on chances it was quite equal. But on the actual game they were worlds apart. If you're a football connoisseur and you like your football, I'd challenge anybody who said that we were anywhere near Real Madrid in class. Their midfield absolutely destroyed us. And I think they took their foot off the pedal, and we could have nicked a draw. I think Mourinho was right, we could have nicked a draw, because football's not always about who plays the best, but in footballing terms, the second half was an embarrassment. I thought the first 20 minutes we did well. I'd argue that with anybody. I thought we played very well in the first 20 minutes. I thought it was an even game. You're not going to dominate Real Madrid with the team that they've got. But Talisca's on, apparently, says Red in bed. Ugh. Not a big fan of his at all. Playing in a pub league in Turkey, got kicked out of another pub league in Portugal. I worry about Martial. Yeah, a few people on about that. Anthony Martial was fantastic. The anti-Martial brigade can't hide behind the fact, oh, he was poor last season anymore, because in pre-season he was fantastic. Doesn't get a look in. I tweeted it last night. Unfortunately, I'm fearful that I think Mourinho is going to force Martial out of United, and that's very, very sad. But what I wanted to say, just reminded me there, is that people can be positive about last night. I've got no problem with that. And if you're like me, you think losing 2-1 and celebrating going long ball is something to celebrate as a Manchester United fan. As Paul Scholes said, the worrying thing about United is that their plan B, with half an hour to go, is to go long ball. And if that's Manchester United, then I think they're going to struggle to get top 4. And I agree with that. But if you want to be positive about last night's result, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I guarantee you, when it comes to I would say September time, even if we win our first 4 or 5 games of the season, but we scrap them playing the way we did last night, every United fan's going to turn against it, because the football isn't great. But it's too early to be like that. It's too early to be like that. I refuse to sort of get into the hype of last night and get too negative about it. I don't understand why people are talking about Herrera. I think, as Mohamed says, will Mkhitaryan get more game time this season? He's got to play at number 10. When he came central last night, he looked really, really good. But we've got nothing to be judge about yet. It's all about the Premier League. It's all about on Sunday, and I think we'll see a different United. I think we'll see a United on the front foot. Hopefully we'll see that 3-5-2, because we bridge the gap between the midfield and the defence. I'd be stunned if we see Fellaini start on Sunday. I think Fellaini is plan B, and he should be maybe plan C, but he won't start on Sunday, so not negative about that. I want to see Pereira involved. I think the game was perfect for Pereira. I want to see Martial involved. I think it was perfect for him. But Mourinho's the manager, and again, positives. I thought Smalling was very good. I think Matic was very good, and I've got to say there, I'm quite surprised. But I always said he's a good player. I just didn't know whether he had the legs, and at the moment he's proven us wrong. But it's a long season. In relation to Lindelof, I think I think he actually did quite well last night. It was offside, obviously he was off, the first goal was because of him, but it was a 90-minute game against the team that dominated. What other mistakes did he make? He will get there, Lindelof will, and we still need to make a couple of signings. I think, Chris Higgins says Martial needs to be sold. That's your opinion, Chris, but I think that Martial being sold is a big mistake. He's a fantastic player. He's been fantastic in the pre-season, and he deserves more opportunities. I thought Matic played well, Kieran. He was my man of the match with Smalling. Lindelof was at fault for 2 goals, says Kieran Byrne. Well, you know what? I think, to be honest, and this is my opinion, that anybody who's having a pop at Lindelof, realistically, that's poor. He's a new signing. He's played a handful of games in a new team, and you would have sold Vidic and Evra based on that. And if you want to throw back at me, well, you're not very complimentary about Fellaini or Lingard. Big difference between a new signing who's been here for 5 minutes and 2 players who've been consistently picked in our team over the last 3 years and consistently underperformed. And if you don't like my opinion, listen to Paul Scholes. He said exactly the same thing about Lingard last night. And, you know, maybe they are home truths, but overall my opinion is positive about United. We don't need to start being negative until and if we start to drop points in the league. Overall I'm very positive, but I'm not blind to the problems that we had last season and the problems that we've got this year. And many people would agree that we're not moving the ball quick enough from the back to the front. We're isolating our striker and not, you know, bridging that gap between midfield and attack that we need Mkhitaryan to do. And the football, all too often, we go a little bit too direct too soon, and don't use the sort of talent that we have available. But maybe that's Mourinho. And, you know, ultimately, at the end of the day, it might be quite frustrating. One of 2 things will happen. Mourinho will be proved right, which history shows he probably will, or it'll all go wrong and he'll lose his job. Simple as that. Thanks everybody for watching. Drop a like on, give us your thoughts on Zlatan especially. Do you want Zlatan back? Give us your thoughts back on that. Get comments in below. And tonight we're live at 8 o'clock. I'm going to try and get Ross on to give us his opinion on Herrera, because I'm baffled by that. And Paul Robinson says everyone should do a pro and con list on the video. Good. I'll tell you what, I'm going to set you a little bit of homework then. We're live tonight at 8 o'clock. Pros and cons in the comments below. I'll summarise them before we go live, and we'll get into that tonight. The pros and cons about the season ahead, because we're very close now. Thanks everybody. I'll speak to you all very soon, and I'm not unblocking you, Kieran. Thanks. Speak to you later.